Hi everyone, welcome back to my Bible channel where my goal is to bring the Word of God to as many people as possible. I am so sorry for the break that I took on here. I didn't want to miss a single day. That was my plan, was to make it through the completion of the Bible without missing a single day of an upload. And I made it, 3 months? Unfortunately, I have failed. I'm sorry. I was sick. And there was no way I was going to be able to pull that off. I'm still recovering, but I feel fine enough to do some. I don't know if I can read 5 chapters without my voice just completely giving out, but I will read 1 to 3. We'll see if we're going to play that by ear today. Thank you so much to everybody who's been praying for me to get better. I've been overwhelmed at the same time because, as you guys know, it's just been a lot of stuff going on with family. My aunt, she is getting her treatment. She will be admitted to the hospital for her cancer treatment here within the next couple weeks. And I mean, there's a little bit, I just don't know what all to share and not share with this kind of stuff, but we're praying for her, and she's strong and she's fighting. So thank you all for that. And then also my grandfather, he just died a couple days ago, and thank you all so much for the prayers with that for the family. Now, we did know that he was in a bad way for a long time. We are okay because he is with Jesus. Absolutely 100%, no doubt in my mind about that. He loved Jesus very much, and there's a comfort in that. And we knew he was in a bad way. We knew that he wasn't going to have much longer with us. And God is so good, because my dad was actually traveling. He was on his way to go to his uncle's funeral when he got the call about Grandpa and his dad, about him being in hospital. So my dad was able to be there with him, so while he was able to pass peacefully. And so it's just such a blessing that my dad was able to be there. So I thank God for that so much. So obviously we're sad that he's not with us anymore, but we know we will be seeing him again with Jesus one day. And my grandpa absolutely loved that what I do, that I make content online, and that everything that I've been doing with gaming and all that stuff too. He cheered me on so much. But I think now that he's in heaven, he's gonna see I'm not as cool as he thought I was. But yeah, I have so many good memories of just how supportive he was, and grandma as well. Now he married her when I was a kid, so she's not blood related to me, but she will always be my grandma. I love her so much, and please keep her in your prayers during this time, of course. So anyway, I've been talking for a long time and haven't started. Let me go ahead and pick up where we left off in 2 Chronicles chapter 26. All the people of Judah had crowned Amaziah's 16-year-old son, Uzziah, as king in place of his father. After his father's death, Uzziah rebuilt the town of Elath and restored it to Judah. I think I'm only going to be able to do one chapter. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to be a coughing mess. I already was on a podcast earlier and filmed another video, so I think my voice is all right, we're gonna do a chapter today, and then tomorrow I should be a lot better and I can do more than that, but I don't want to be coughing and gross reading for an extended amount of time. So all right. Uzziah was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 52 years. His mother was Jecholiah from Jerusalem. He did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, just as his father Amaziah had done. Uzziah sought God during the days of Zechariah, who taught him to fear God. And as long as the king sought guidance from the Lord, God gave him success. Uzziah declared war on the Philistines and broke down the walls of Gath, Jabneh, and Ashdod. Then he built new towns in the Ashdod area and in other parts of Philistia. God helped him in his wars against the Philistines, his battles with the Arabs of Gur, and his wars with the Meunites. The Meunites paid annual tribute to him, and his fame spread even to Egypt, for he had become very powerful. Uzziah built fortified towers in Jerusalem at the corner gate, at the valley gate, and at the angle in the wall. He also constructed forts in the wilderness and dug many water cisterns, because he kept great herds of livestock in the foothills of Judah and on the plains. He was also a man who loved the soil. He had many workers who cared for his farms and vineyards, both on the hillsides and in the fertile valleys. Uzziah had an army of well-trained warriors ready to march into battle, unit by unit. This army had been mustered and organized by Jeiel, the secretary of the army, and his assistant, Maaseiah. They were under the direction of Hananiah, one of the king's officials. These regiments of mighty warriors were commanded by 2,600 clan leaders. The army consisted of 307,500 men, all elite troops. They were prepared to assist the king against any enemy. Uzziah provided the entire army with shields, spears, helmets, coats of mail, bows, and sling stones. And he built structures on the walls of Jerusalem, designed by experts to protect those who shot arrows and hurled large stones from the towers and the corners of the wall. His fame spread far and wide, for the Lord gave him marvelous help, and he became very powerful. But when he had become powerful, he also became proud, which led to his downfall. He sinned against the Lord his God by entering the sanctuary of the Lord's temple and personally burning incense on the incense altar. Azariah the high priest went in after him with 80 other priests of the Lord and all brave men. They confronted King Uzziah and said, "It is not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord. That is the work of the priest alone, the descendants of Aaron, who are set apart for this work. Get out of the sanctuary, for you have sinned. The Lord God will not honor you for this." Uzziah, who was holding an incense burner, became furious. But as he was standing there raging, and the priest before the incense altar in the Lord's temple, leprosy suddenly broke out on his forehead. When Azariah the high priest and all the other priests saw the leprosy, they rushed him out. And the king himself was eager to get out because the Lord had struck him. So King Uzziah had leprosy until the day he died. He lived in isolation in a separate house, for he was excluded from the temple of the Lord. His son Jotham was put in charge of the royal palace, and he governed the people of the land. The rest of the events of Uzziah's reign, from beginning to end, are recorded by the prophet Isaiah, son of Amoz. When Uzziah died, he was buried with his ancestors. His grave was in a nearby burial field belonging to the kings, for the people said he had leprosy, and his son Jotham became the next king. All right, and that's all I'm going to read today, just because I don't want another coughing fit. I don't want to sound gross as I keep reading. I normally don't like to chime in too much with things, but today I will. I think especially since this is short anyway, so. One thing I'm really gathering from this is I think sometimes we can think we are immune from certain things, like, oh, I would never do this, I would never do that, I would never become super prideful or this or that. But just look at the difference with someone like David, for example. David, who had a lot of success in the Bible, and he glorified God through all of it. He gave credit to where credit was due to God, and he didn't try to claim himself as being so amazing. He claimed his victories and stuff because of the power of God, and God really used him in a huge way as a result. But then you see in this case, Uzziah is like, oh, okay. Like God helped him, but he, instead of being humble and acknowledging, hey, this is all because of God, he's just like, oh, look at me. I'm going to roll in here and burn some incense. You know, I'm Mr. Big Shot now. And I just think it's something to keep in mind with life and certain things. I think a lot of people, they just think about things and they think, oh man, I wish I was super famous, or I wish I was super rich, or this or that. And at some point it's like, you shouldn't want to wish for those things to a point where, I mean, you know, everyone wants to be successful and stuff to a degree, but you just gotta bear in mind that, you know, money or fame or anything like that can corrupt even previously good people. I mean, we are all sinful by nature, and so to say, oh, that would never happen to me, well, at what degree? I don't know. So that's something I always pray about with what I do in general, because making content very front facing, and I get followers and all that kind of stuff, and so that's something I keep in mind. I always pray, you know, let me, you know, I do pray and ask for blessings and success, but I always pray like for what I can handle, because if there's ever any point, that it would corrupt my character and my soul, all that, then I don't want it. So I'm perfectly happy just living a humble life and having a humble following. So I always just I don't know, food for thought. Anyway, thank you all so much for your fellowship. Thank you all for bearing with me while I've taken some time off here. I'm going to try my best to get back fully in the swing of things as soon as possible. But I really appreciate every single one of you. As always, feel free to leave your prayer requests in the comments below so that, myself, my prayer team, and anyone who reads them can pray for you. Thank you all again. I'll see you later. Bye.